We are talking about karma. You've probably heard the word karma many times. The root of the word kar, used in words as kriya or creation in English, is the same we use in the word karma, often translated as action, which maybe doesn't explain 100% its real meaning. We know there are certain forces that govern this universe. One of these forces tends to balance everything and apply a very strong influence in the universe and of course in ourselves. From a scientific perspective, we will speak about the law of cause and effect, Ursache-Wirkung for the German speakers. Basically explained, every action will produce a consequent action or result which will tend to balance the previous action. If we move too far to the right, then the universe will bring us back to the left, finding out some balance in between. This strong power might be invisible to our eyes, like, let's say, the law of gravity, but it is there, influencing our lives. We often go through circumstances in our lives and we suffer without understanding this present moment as a part of a bigger picture. When we start to zoom out and understand our present as a part of a karmic story, we bring more understanding to our own circumstances and the whole picture starts to make more sense. It's interesting to see how different cultures understand this law of karma. For example, in Christianity, a lifespan from birth to death will determine our destiny, sending us to the paradise or to the hell if we did good or bad. Some other cultures, as Hinduism or Buddhism, will offer other life rounds so we can compensate our actions. This introduces the concept of reincarnation. So an action performed in this life will be balanced by a result in this life or in future lives. Sometimes we have good or bad luck without knowing this might be part of a previous action. So normally we could say that giving something good to the universe, let's say donating for charity or helping someone else, will create a positive effect which will result in something good coming to our life in the future. You give, you get back. Very easy. Let's say you harm someone and life will compensate this sooner or later, in this life or in a future one. We can basically say that good actions will bring good results, bad actions, bad results. But normally we have a mix of good and bad actions, and a mix of good and bad results. Of course, we prefer to get good and positive circumstances in our lives, so performing good actions and spreading attributes such as love, empathy, and compassion is definitely the way to go. By being good to the others, we are just being good to ourselves. So we have level 1, you do bad karma and you get bad karma. Level 2, you do a mixed karma of good and bad actions and then you will get a mixed karma. And at level 3, you do good karma, positive actions, and you get good karma. But there is a step further, and this is no karma at all. So let's try to understand performing no karma. Remember the reincarnation wheel. We get born, and then we die, and then again born and die, to compensate our karma debts. So life becomes a stage in which the drama of karma is represented. But there must be a way we can pay our karmic debts, so we stop performing karma, and this way we get out of this reincarnation process. In this case, our life in this plane is done and we can get into another level of existence. Then you become a saint or a yogi, like a Jesus or a Buddha. So the obvious question is, how do I perform no karma so I can become a Jesus or a Buddha myself? Well, renunciation could be an option for many, but we cannot perform renunciation. We cannot avoid actions. Even if we retire to meditate in a cave in the Himalayas, we will continue to perform actions. Even our thoughts and emotions produce karma. So, in our level of existence, renunciation is not the answer to avoid performing karma. If you were planning to renounce to your responsibilities or escaping from your duties. I'm sorry to tell you, this is not possible. Many people come to spirituality to avoid life's duties. We cannot escape from karma. We have to pay our karma. The karma bank will follow you everywhere. You cannot hide from the universe, from God. You cannot hide from yourself. Now we have the dilemma: work or renunciation, facing life or running away from life. There is an answer, and this is not work versus renunciation. It's work and renunciation together. So this way we can perform action without performing karma. We work but without generating karmic debts. This way is developed as a branch of yoga called Karma Yoga. The concept of Karma Yoga, introduced by the Bhagavad Gita, written over 2000 years ago, bring many answers to the deeper dilemmas a human being can face in life. With the help of Karma Yoga, you can exercise the ability to transform your karma, clearing out your karmic debts. To understand how Karma Yoga works, we need to understand the concept of Dharma. Everything in this universe manifests according to its own Dharma, like what we are made for. A river will flow, a tree will give fruits, the sun shines, etc., etc. There is a wisdom, there is a consciousness in everything, which is just an extension of the universal consciousness. And of course, we are also an extension of this universal consciousness. Have you seen an artist working, completely absorbed on the job performed? He might not eat or sleep, working for hours and hours without being tired, because God is passing and manifesting through the artist, giving form to, let's say, a song, a poem, a painting, anything. We can call this inspiration, passion, connection with the source, you name it. This feeling of being tired or depressed is something that won't happen to the inspired artist. This won't happen to the river flowing, for example. Can you imagine the river saying, "Oh, it's Monday morning, I need a few coffees before I start flowing"? No, you can't, don't you? So how can we feel like the artist working if we are not artists? How can we find inspiration if we still didn't find any big passion in our lives, like painting, playing music, writing, or cooking? We can practice Karma Yoga. So you can start practicing Karma Yoga by doing anything you're doing, 100%. You don't need to wait for the inspiration to come. You can become yourself the inspiration and do everything you do with passion, with total awareness and seeking for perfection while performing it. So if you are cooking, try to make the most delicious dish you might have tasted. If you are cleaning a place, try to make the room you're cleaning the cleanest place in the world out of it. If you are working at your job, try to do it as good as you can. And here comes a very interesting aspect of Karma Yoga practice. Do your job, whatever you're doing, as good as you can, as efficient as you can, not seeking for a result, not seeking for a knowledge of your boss or colleagues. The renunciation to the results of your actions is essential to the Karma Yoga practice, because there you have work plus renunciation, not work versus renunciation. You do your best and let go. You don't worry what comes afterwards. Can you imagine the artist thinking all the time how people will react to my job? This will corrupt his art and decrease the quality. The artist is a channel, and through him, God or the universe is manifesting. The interesting thing about practicing Karma Yoga is that you will start to tune with your inspiration and passion, and they will start to manifest more and more in your life. Your creativity will start to unfold, but also you will start to be less dependent on others' opinions, becoming more and more self-confident, increasing your willpower and inner strength by observing how you can change things, how you can transform the reality in a positive way. By practicing Karma Yoga, you will burn all karmic debts. and free yourself from deep tensions, worries, and depression. How can we practice Karma Yoga? Anytime, whatever you're doing, at your job, at home, try to give without expecting anything back. Exercise to do your best and to put your ego aside by not expecting anything in return. By practicing Karma Yoga, we put our ego aside as we don't perform our actions for our own benefit or expecting anything back. Our ego is the root of all our complexities and sorrows. With Karma Yoga, you transcend the ego because you're just the channel through which the universal consciousness expresses. You allow the universal consciousness to pass through you. Just that. What other people think about it or the results of the action is not your business. You just allow the consciousness to express through you. If you stayed until this part of the video, thank you very much for watching. Please let us know what do you think about it. Maybe you practice Karma Yoga or have any interesting tips or experiences you want to share. We'd love to hear them.